Hello, my friends. Checking in from I've convinced myself, gloriously rainy day. A week of rain with about 6 hours of sunshine for a while yesterday, midday. I think I'm getting into it though. I guess for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is it's washed the pollen off of the pine trees, and it means that it's not as sneeze worthy breathing here at the moment. Also, it's that gentle rain, the blessing rain, I think of it, and I'm sure all the farmers around here are saying the same thing right now. Oh, before summer storms and lightning and thunder and all the drama, the hissy fit storms of wind and rain and lightning, it's gentle and soft. It's just touching the land like lightly. I came out of church and put my face up and took my glasses off, put my face up and just let it rain on me. And I loved the fact that I heard somebody behind me go, and they turned around and someone was doing the same thing behind me, mimicking me, but enjoying it as much as I was. Service today was interesting. I had missed last week. Oh, talking about missing last week. Here is a picture of the window at the front of our church 3 weeks ago, about. I shared it then. And here's a picture of it today. I missed one Sunday, and the tree outside totally unfurled its leaves. Oh, it was gorgeous to see that neon green, that tender, tender green. It's only this time of year. Yeah, it seems like the leaves on trees get kind of worn out by life, by what they're exposed to, literally, like we humans are, literally and figuratively. And right now, the leaves look innocent, don't they? So today's Sunday sermon, that's really what this vlog is going to be about. It was on acceptance. Okay, I thought I could handle that. We have a third principle of the principles that guide Unitarian Universalism is acceptance of one another and encouragement in our spiritual growth. And I actually did a lot of writing after today's sermon. Some of it I'll spare you, but if you're not interested in my reflections after Sunday service, that's going to be what today's vlog is going to be, so you can skip it now if you'd like to. So anyway, it was about acceptance. And they called the kids up for the kids' message at the beginning, and they read from the child's book some of you may be aware of, called I Am Jazz. I don't know if you're a follower of Jazz, but I adore her. I haven't followed her so much as I watched the first couple of episodes of I Am Jazz, which is a reality TV show about a young person who was born with the body of a boy, but who always knew she was a girl. And luckily for Jazz, had a lot of support from her family, even though, of course, it was very confusing at first. And she's very inspirational in so many different ways. So, reading that short story to the children, I Am Jazz, and letting the children know that they were going to be discussing how people are different in their classrooms afterwards. I thought, okay, that's fine. But, forgive me, Goddess, but I really don't want to sit here for the next hour being preached at about acceptance of all the possibilities of human existence when it comes to sexuality and gender. I felt like it was preaching to the choir. Unitarian Universalists are open to all the experiences of being human. And I thought that's the direction it was going to take, because then our minister said that she had signed up for our annual meeting. It's a huge gathering of Unitarians in June every year. Someday I'd love to go. Not this year, though. Too expensive. And she said that for the first time, when you checked the information, because they like to collect demographics to kind of keep track of, well, who we are, Unitarian Universalists. And I guess there had been in the past where you checked if you were male or female, and as the wider comprehension of human experiences broadened, it included the LBGTQ, basically. But this time, it was even further than that, with a lot more possibilities of human existence listed. Well, at that point, I was positive that the Sunday sermon was going to be on acceptance of how others feel and see themselves when it comes to gender and sexuality. And I really wasn't interested in that. Not that I don't care about the topic, mind you, but I don't need to be preached to about it for an hour. But it ended up, the service didn't quite go there. It started out with a little bit of a chide, which I took personally because of where my thoughts had been going. That most of us sitting in that congregation had a broad sense of compassion and respect, and if not understanding, an attempt to understand of all those human possibilities. And we like to think of ourselves as liberal because of that. Then our minister used an example from her own life. She's good at it because she only does it in small doses and usually very meaningful. Unlike the previous minister, that was always like attending a lecture on his autobiography every time he went to a service, but she's not that way at all. And she said that acceptance, this third principle that we live by as Unitarian Universalists, it's so much a part of our principles and who we are, and we can see it clearly when it comes to things of gender and race, sometimes even spirituality, if we understand that another spirituality also comes from a place of love. But she used an example from her own life of where she had failed to be in a place of acceptance. She talked about friends that she knows and loves dearly. She's known them for a long time. She sees them live love in the world. She sees them very active in causes and things that matter to her too. They share a lot of passions. But they're supporting a political candidate, and I could guess what one it was, but she never gave names. I won't either. You'll know who it is. That didn't represent the liberal point of view. And our minister was honest in saying that, boy, everything she ever considered about herself as a person who lived that principle of acceptance was kind of flying out the door. And she really was at a loss how to handle someone that you love who feels something was a personal truth, whose life experiences have led them to a place that feels alien to you. Trying to respect them, when there's that part of your brain which is screaming you're intolerant, or you're bigoted, or you're wrong. And then she let us all consider the places in our life where we've experienced that kind of thing. Wanting to be respectful of others and yearning to really comprehend at a soul deep level. We all have our own truths. So this sermon on acceptance, I'm going to my notes from the day, became more about, are we all as accepting as we'd like to think that we are? Can you be acceptance of Jazz and all the young women and young men that have struggled with sexual identity? What does being spiritually mature mean in the face of differences, some of which you will comprehend, some of which you can respect without comprehending, and others you just struggle? Like our minister was honest in saying that she struggled with loved ones that she is having a very difficult time relating to in these turbulent political times. I did a little research myself afterwards to come up with some of the quotes that she had used that I wanted to capture for myself, but I found a new one I really liked. It was, the website wasn't all that interesting, so I'm not going to reference it, but it was about the steps one takes into the stages of reincarnation before one becomes enlightened and does not reincarnate anymore, if that's where your thinking goes. And it talked about the mature soul as the fourth stage of reincarnation along the route to enlightenment. At this stage, it said, life is about embracing otherness, other perspectives, other people, other cultures, and even other parts of one's own being, which I think our minister was embracing that when she was being honest about, well, am I really being very accepting here? She spoke about accepting the other as the other, doesn't listen, our experience of being ourselves. It doesn't impact our truth or our reality. That we can accept what she called isness, the things in the world that are what they are. Yeah, I'm looking at my "It Is What It Is" placard. I should have brought it so I could hold it up at this moment. Things, situations, people. From that person you love who supports a candidate you see representing hate in the world, even to something as simple as the isness of the 7th day in a row of rain, and me struggling to accept that. There's all different kinds of levels of acceptance. And she said that we can accept others, accept the isness in the world, accept that there are beautiful things, accept that there are absolutely terrible things, frightening things, traumatic happenings in the world. Accept they exist, they are reality. But the power of acceptance is you appreciate that you can use that awareness of what in the world you are uncomfortable with to re-energize yourself when it comes to making a change in the world. A re-energizing relationship with the world is what she said. She'd come to the place with her friends, obviously she accepted them, she loved them, she came to appreciate that their reality was different than hers, even though she thought they shared a reality. Do any two of us ever really share a reality? And it made her want to work that much harder for her own candidates, or find the places she and her friends had in common and celebrate that. We sang a hymn called "When I Am Frightened." I'd not sung it before. Actually, really had never heard it before. I'll share the first verse with you, and excuse my singing, it's not going to be perfect. First thing, new hymn, didn't know the words. But here it comes. When I am frightened.
When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me, sing to me quietly? Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care.
When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give. And the last verse. When I am troubled, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you be there for me, comfort me tenderly? Will you share some of your feelings with me? If you will show me commitment, then I may learn to love as you do. Then I may learn to love. I've seen the hymn online, often sung to as a child, singing to an adult, which gives it a certain poignancy. But also, as our minister was encouraging us to think, by choosing that song to go along with her sermon, how we react to those that we feel are different, both in when they reach out to us and also in our power to reach out to them. We can show them from the hymn compassion, acceptance, and commitment. And it's not an easy thing. You know, her sermon on gratitude a few weeks back was easy to grasp. So excuse me for a little bit of an interruption there. phone call on some business that needed to be taken care of, and I'm back. So, there is an old Unitarian view on souls. What our soul is, the part of us that is connected to God, is the part of us that's able to create, to manifest, change, and transform. The part of us that is God, in a way, we might say. And some of our non-Christian explorations. And she quoted Rob Hardy's, who is a minister, I think, in a Washington UU church. And he said, we need souls that can take the world in all its complexity and diversity, yet still maintain their integrity. And we need souls that can love and be in relation with all of this complexity. Instead of fight or flight, we need a spiritual posture of embrace. It means a lot to me. Thinking about things like when you just cannot relate to the viewpoint or the opinion or someone else's reality, their truth. You can't get to the same place. Do you need to? Do you really have to agree or disagree? Do you need to argue? Do you need to turn away from them? Maybe it's just embrace that is their isness, as our minister was referring to that kind of thing, their truth, their reality. It's who they are. And can you accept that? Well, the question probably isn't can you accept, but will you choose to accept? So what the sermon ended up being about was about there are areas in which we know you're capable of being and loving and accepting human being in relation to others. And there are the places that no matter how we'd like to have that as our spiritual focus or our way of being, we struggle with the concept of acceptance. But in the end, that struggle is about us. It's not about the rightness or the wrongness of the other person. Not even about our rightness or wrongness. When it seems we're in opposition to another's view or another's reality, it's about whether we're able to accept what is for what it is. Oh, it doesn't mean we don't then go about the business of making the changes we want to see in the world, of living the world into a new reality or manifesting change through our actions. In fact, perhaps that's the kind of thing that inspires us to be even more creative when it comes to those efforts. We didn't sing the next song. She used it as her closing words. Our minister leaves the front of the sanctuary and goes to the back. There's a closing music, not sung, just a reflective piece of music played by our musician of the day. And then our minister says a final closing words from the back of the church before we leave. And I wonder how many of you will know this. I know it from my childhood, and I wonder if you will know it too. She says, we come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. She meant it as a blessing as we left, for us to be kind to ourselves, to acknowledge that in truth, honesty with ourselves, we all have those moments that we are not accepting creatures, no matter we think of ourselves as such. And she reminded us to decide what to do about that. Her suggestion was, try to understand those who are not like us, even loved ones, to understand their isness. What is reality for them? And maybe why. I wonder if it's not maybe why, but the why, or the wanting to know the why, might not be extremely important in terms of acceptance. And then she said, turn the world around. Nothing about that keeps us from turning the world around or doing our best to influence its spin. It drove me a little crazy that I knew the words that she was saying. I had to come home and Google it to try and figure out why it resonated so much with me. And the reason is it's a song, and it's one that I knew well from early days. I don't know when it came out. I'll look it up and publish the date here. Harry Belafonte. My grandfather loved Harry Belafonte. And he used to sing this song, and I used to sing this song with him. Oh gosh, another interruption. It's that kind of day. Have you ever noticed the days that you really want quiet's when there's people at the door, or there is phone calls? Something's going on all day. That's what happens sometimes, doesn't it? So anyway, the song, Harry Belafonte's Turn the World Around. I'm singing a version for it, for you, as the ending of this vlog. Yeah, I sang it you twice today. This is what I felt like, I guess. And not even a time in which I have full voice, because I don't have full breath right now. Having some little bit of a health problem. But just felt like remembering my grandfather and singing Turn the World Around with him and with Harry Belafonte. And sharing it with all of you. And challenging you as we were challenged leaving church today. How accepting are you? Can you truthfully acknowledge when you aren't? What's your attitude in relation to those times? Is it all about you being right? You're feeling that your view, your world experience, your life experience is the only one, hello Ernie, that rings with truth? How hard is it? How hard is it to possibly face that? Acceptance is not an easy thing. And then to consider individually how important we find it.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life.